Hello, and welcome to a fun, exciting evening in which I'm going to be sharing with you some of the more exciting possibilities that there are for Binding of Isaac playthroughs. So, a lot of people do playthroughs where they'll do, say, like, purist runs, where they'll only play as Isaac, or maybe they'll limit themselves to certain kind of items. But I think that there's some opportunities you have to do some things that'll be both challenging and make you think about Isaac in ways that maybe you never have before. So to start off with, we're going to try doing a run where we don't use any tiers at all. So most people like to think of Isaac as only being a character that's controllable using tiers and tier-based attacks to fight, but that's simply not true. Isaac also has the use of bombs. Now you see, in order to navigate this space, for example, we're going to have the AI do a little of the fighting for us. You see, there's a bomb-based pustule here that can attack some of the other enemies in the room, like those spiders there. So we've got to try to lure the green pustule to attack these spiders, and it's tricky, but it is doable. So let's explore some of that. We also have one bomb to ourselves, but it would be preferable to save that because we just have the one right now. Whoop. Got another spider there. And as you can see, I am having difficulty with this. I think it would be best if I could get this one bomb right here. It's a good placement for it. And there you go. Look at that. We've taken out two of these pustules. And as you can see, without the help of this thing here, we're not going to be able to do much. We can probably get through the rest of these spiders, but then that's pretty much going to be it for this run through. But we're not doing this because we want to take the easy route. We're doing this because there are all kinds of possibilities that exist in the Binding of Isaac universe. Like, see here? Boom! And now we're going to proceed a whole nother room farther than we did last time. I won't try too many runs of this variety, but that I think is a pretty good option for you. So another run that's possibly even more challenging than the last is the no-kill run. So we're going to try to get as far as we can through the game without killing anything at all. This spider here is our friend, and we don't want to hurt it. Look at it, it's cute, it scampers around. It's trying to give us a friendly little hug. It doesn't know what it's doing, but it'll hurt us if it does. So we're just going to try to get to the next room without hurting it. But before we do, remember, since this is a no-kill run, you're going to want to burst anything that you come into contact with that might contain an item. Like, look, see, a heart right there. We were hoping for bombs, really, since that'll let us proceed through rooms. But we'll take what we can get. We'll take what we can find. Unfortunately, in a swarm room like this, it's going to be a very sort of high-pressure situation. We're going to be desperately looking for bombs, while swarms of enemies are trying to get to us. And there we've died. So that is incredibly difficult, but not impossible if you were to play a sufficiently lucky character like Cain, for example. Then you would probably be able to find, say, eventually, after maybe 50 or 150 runs, the we need to go deeper item, and then you can get to a whole nother floor that way. Or you could find telepills in one of those first rooms and teleport to the I am error room and proceed that way. And maybe over 10,000 runs you'd be able to get deep enough to get at least to the bottom of the depths. So that's one I only recommend for the really hardcore player. But we're going to try one now that's even more difficult. We're going to try the no movement run. In this run, we're not going to move at all. Movement is just one of those things that a lot of people rely on mechanically with the Binding of Isaac, but I don't think it's necessarily something that you have to do. So we're going to try to sort of propel ourselves somehow. Now, obviously, there's no kickback from tiers in the Binding of Isaac, which would make this much easier. But perhaps can sort of spin ourselves around and throw a bomb out and use the bomb to propel ourselves forward, which didn't work here. It didn't work. So that's it. That's that run gone. And we're gonna have to try it with say, maybe it would be doable with Eden. Maybe Eden will start with an item that will allow us to get past that requirement of not moving. And this run obviously hasn't produced that result. So we're pretty much screwed. So there's another run gone. The nice thing about these kind of runs is that you find out whether or not they're going to work pretty easy on. And the last kind of run that we're going to explore today is we are going to explore playing Binding of Isaac not as a roguelike, not as a dungeon crawler, but as a dating simulator. So we're going to do the dating sim run with Eve here. So the first thing you have to do with any dating simulator run is find a solid candidate for your dating. Now you'll see that the Binding of Isaac has hearts in the top corner. Now usually we think of these as being abstract, as sort of game abstractions meant to represent like health and success in that way. But for the purposes of the dating sim run, we're going to think of that as sort of how well our sort of date is going with the beings of the basement and such. So the fly is probably not a good option. I don't find these too compelling as potential romantic partners. They're a little clingy. I invite you to think of perhaps Eve's bird here as being sort of a jilted ex-lover who remains sort of clinging in the shadows to Eve, or maybe a supportive friend who doesn't want her dates to go badly, which is kind. And it's also another fun way to think of these characters that we've come to love. Here we've got a whole selection of gentlemen who are just perfectly eligible, and we might be able to have a good time with. They seem friendly enough. They seem to be getting into it. But how do we express to them our affection, assuming that we're into that? Well, hugging them outright is not a good option, as is evidenced by the fact that doing so has sort of unleashed, I guess, the worst in Eve. Look, the data's going terribly now. There's guts flying everywhere. Eve has morphed into some kind of angry, sort of blood-spitting caricature of the fine and upstanding young woman that she was. This night has not gone well for her. All of her potential suitors are dead, and it's just not working out. Binding of Isaac is one of the harder visual novels to make work. But this might work. Look, he's not getting up in our space. He's respecting our personal space. He's spitting spiders out. And we might be able to coexist with him if it weren't for the spider. But if we just sort of maintain our distance here, and we avoid the spiders, then we might be able to carry on a casual conversation with him. We'll have our friend here supervise the date to make sure that nothing goes too badly, and we'll stay here in our respective corners, and we'll just sort of chat. Or you might die by spiders. So anyway, I hope that this has given you some fun new ideas for how you can play the Binding of Isaac. And if you have any ideas for challenging runs of your own, I encourage you to share them with me. So thank you for watching, and you have a wonderful rest of your day.